Dear students, today we will learn the new chapter, namely light. Light is very important thing in our day-to-day life. First and foremost thing is to see the objects, we need light. You may say that we have eyes, perfect eyes without any eye problem. We can see the things you will see. You will say, right? But in the darkness, can you able to see the things at night without lamp, without light? No. During daytime, the sunlight is there to see the objects, but during night, without light, we cannot see, even though we have the perfect eyes to see the things. So, light will play a very important role, not only to see the objects, for photosynthesis and to do the various activities, we need light. What we will learn in the new chapter is, we will learn the two aspects, the two properties of light. Light have different properties, but two important properties we will focus. First one is a reflection of light, reflection, and next we will learn about the refraction, the second property. Today we are going to learn only, first we are going to learn only about the property of the light, namely reflection of light. Now, what is reflection? If you throw a ball to the ground, it rebounds back, it comes back, because there is ground is there. When the ball hit there, then that surface, when it hit, then immediately it comes back after hitting. Same manner, when light travels in the space, if it hit incident on any surface, then it will come back, it bounce back. Bouncing back of light is called a reflection of light. Now, reflection word, if I say, the first thing in your mind comes about the mirror, right? The plain mirror which we are using in our day-to-day life. The plain mirror like this, where the glass, one side is silver coated, the reflecting surface, and other side is non-reflecting, it is colored. So, when light comes and hits here, it will bounce back, reflect back, and we can see that by that reflection we can see our image on the mirror. What is the property of this image on the plane mirror? It is the same size as we have, and it is upright. Upright means how we are, our head is up, leg is down, upright. Then the image is behind the mirror, we can see. Our image we can see behind the mirror, and what is the distance between mirror and us? The same distance from the mirror back side, the image we can see. Another property of this plane mirror about the image is, it is lateral shift, the property of lateral shift it shows. That is, if the right part of the right side of the object, it looks as if it is, when you see that image, it looks, it is on the left side. If you write the letter P, the letter P, but when you see through the image of the mirror, in the mirror, the image, it looks like a 9. So, it is lateral shift. The right part looks towards the left, and left side of the object looks toward the right. That also takes place, and this image is on the plane mirror is a virtual image. It is not real image. You may ask, what is virtual image? Image is image. What is that real image and virtual image? The image which we can obtain on any screen, on any objects, if it is possible to get that image on any object, it is called real image, where the light rays after reflection, they will meet, and that point we will get the image. Okay, that is real image. And virtual image is that image where the light rays actually will not meet, it appears to be meet. It appears to be meat, only we can see through that our eyes that image, but if you keep any screen or any object on it, we cannot able to get the image. That is called virtual image. More about real image and virtual image we'll learn later. Okay, so this all about the reflection of light in mirror, and when the how we can see the objects. When light falls on the object, it reflect back, and when it enters our eyes, that reflected ray, so that object from where that reflection took place, that object we can able to see. So that is about the seeing of an object. Here the some objects give out light by themselves, like the sun or a bulb, candle, etc. When it burns candle, it is luminous objects, and the objects like us, table, book, etc., we don't have light ourselves, we are called non-luminous objects. Only light falls on us, it will reflect. Okay, so that about the reflection of light. And we studied in the smaller classes the two laws of reflection. The first important law you have to use in this class, or wherever you will go, you have to use this first and important one proper law of light, reflection of light, is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. This is one important law of reflection. Any reflecting surface, this law holds good. Even the surface is not plane, if it curved also, no problem, that reflecting surface, whichever way that surface is, this law holds good. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. It is one of the important laws of reflection. If you take a plane mirror, if you keep the mirror in this position, like this way, sideways, like this you have to keep, then we will draw the line to indicate plane mirror it is. And the non-reflecting surface, this surface, we will mark it by showing the lines like this way. It is non-reflecting surface here. And when a ray of light falls incident on this reflecting surface, say mirror, here this is the incident ray. If we can point AO is incident ray, where this arrow mark shows the direction of the ray traveling. One ray I have drawn, okay, and this is the point O where it incident, point of incidence. And here you have to draw a perpendicular line at that point. To this point, to this reflecting surface, we have to draw a perpendicular line here. Here it is called normal. Normal it is incident ray, OM I read, AO, incident ray. Incident ray, according to the first law, the angle of incidence, here the angle with which that incident ray makes this normal line, I will write this angle AOM angle, AOM, I angle here, which I marked. It is called angle of incidence, incident angle, incident angle, angle of incidence, angle of incidence you may call. And the law says how much angle it makes. So you have to draw the refracted line, reflected ray, such that it will make an equal angle. This angle, R angle, OB ray. I will show the direction of reflection like this way. So, this direction, this indicate the direction in which it reflected. So, OB is reflected ray. OB is nothing but a reflected ray, and angle BOM, angle BOM, it is nothing but R angle. It is angle of reflection, angle of reflection. Angle of incidence, that is better, angle of incidence. Angle of incidence I, angle of refraction R. The first law says, the one of the laws says angle of incidence I is equal to angle of incidence R, always. Okay, this is the one of the important laws of reflection, and it follows in all the reflecting surface. Now, what we are going to learn in the 10th standard, this is the basic things we have studied in the smaller classes, and this particular I is equal to R. This particular laws, the second law actually it is law of reflection, that also we will use in case of spherical mirrors. We have to study how the image will form in the case of spherical mirrors. So, we will learn about spherical mirrors. That is, we are going to learn in 10th standard, which are not studied, maybe briefly are studied spherical mirrors. Now, have you come across, have you observed your face in the mirror kept in the two-wheelers, automobiles? It may be a scooter or it may be bike, etc. Have you observed your face, how it looks? Small it looks. Did you or not? Or if you go to ask your father to show the mirror, a different mirror, or if you go to the barber shop, they will use the mirror, a special mirror where your face looks bigger. Have you observed or not? I don't know. In a barber shop, they will use the mirror where your face looks bigger. That is different mirror, not your plain mirror. And the same time, like in a bike, you observe today, if you have at home or at the friend's house, wherever it is, the bike or the scooter, there the front one mirror, they will use back view mirror. It is to see the back side. They have one mirror. There your face looks small. Okay, that is different mirror other than plain mirror. They are actually spherical mirrors we are using. Even the dentist, they will use a mirror to observe the tooth decay. There also the mirror they will use, they will put inside your mouth to observe. That is also a spherical mirror. Okay, in a torchlight they will use spherical mirror. So, we will learn in which all the fields we will use spherical mirrors other than plain mirrors later. Now, what about the spherical mirror? Why the name, the spherical word came, and how the image, as I said, in plain mirror our image size is same as our size. But in spherical mirrors, it may be too small or it may be too big, our image. Like sometimes in a festival time, if you go to exhibition, etc., in some of the places they will keep big mirrors where if you go and stand, your structure looks different, size looks different, small or big, or you can look fat or thin, etc. So, there they will use other than plain mirror. Okay. So, if you want to have the plain mirrors at home without mirror, you can very well you can use this structure. You identify this is the spoon with day to day life we are using. The new spoon, if it is have, it is better, the much polish it has, so that your reflection can be seen. If you see here, it's this part, this surface, the curved inside, this is not plain. It is a example for spherical mirror. This not mirror, it is mirror like it acts, spherical mirror like it. So, this is curved inside. So, you can see your face. If you observe, today you try it later children, after this lesson, if you keep the this part, the right part of the spoon this way facing your face, then your image looks inverted. Okay, and that is one type of spherical mirror. And if you turn back the other side, back side of the spoon, this is also not plain, it is bulged outside, it is bulged outside, it is another type of spherical mirror. Okay, and if you turn and see, your figure or your image looks upright, correctly it looks, but here this side it looks inverted. So both side, if you turn and see, one side it looks upright and other side it looks inverted. Now here, depending upon the curvature, whether it is curved inside or it is curved outside, bulged outside, there are mainly two types of spherical mirrors, that is concave mirror and second one is a convex mirror. Concave mirror and a convex mirror. Then actually in reality how it looks or what we are using in our laboratory etc., in the class etc., we will use this mirror. Actually if you come close, and actually I cannot show it, if you come close and see here, like sideways, if you keep this one here, it is little bit curved inside, like this way, it is curved like this way. Okay, and this is one side is silver polished and other one is colored. So this is the reflecting surface, it is curved inside, concave. So when you enter the cave, how it is curved inside like that way. So concave, it is name is concave. And if you want to draw the figure to indicate in the on the blackboard, usually we will indicate concave mirror like this way. It is cave. When you enter the cave, cave looks like this. So you are entering the cave, so you can remember concave. This is the reflecting surface, this side, and the non-reflecting surface, usually we will draw the lines like this way. This is non-reflecting surface, which I draw the lines, non-reflecting surface. So light when goes, it reflects here from this side. We will draw the diagram like this way for concave mirror. And the convex mirror, if you fold like this way, you can see it is very little bulged outside. If you looks here, it looks circular one, but actually if you touch and see, or if you keep side and see, slightly it is bulged outside. It is slightly bulged outside. It is like this side, it is bulged outside, and this is the reflecting surface, this is the non-reflecting surface. And how to indicate it? So for convex mirror, the diagram is, so it is bulged outside, this is the reflecting surface, and this is the non-reflecting surface. This is for a convex mirror we will draw, and this is for concave mirror. Usually we will draw the figure, indicate it in like this way. Now why it is got the name spherical mirror? Because if you take it from a big sphere, if there is a sphere, imagine if you have a sphere, a hollow sphere, glass sphere, and if you cut one part here, so you will get one bulged surface and one hollow surface, that is the lateral surface. I will show it like a ball, in a ball. If you have the ball structure here, and if you cut the ball, I have the ball here, imagine it is made up of glass. I don't have the glass ball, whatever it is, I have taken one ball, and if you cut it here, Now you will have the spherical shape now. This is from the part of the sphere, and this is bulged outside, and it is concave. Okay, now which side you want to, concave or convex mirror if you want. If you polish silver color inside here, it is here, it is non reflecting, then it become this side. So this is concave mirror you will get. You have to silver color you have to give it. Same manner, if you want convex mirror, the bulged surface you have to give silver polish here, and here non-reflecting surface. So it is convex mirror like this way, bulged outside, and this is concave where it is inside cave, inside like a cave, it is curved inside. So, okay, from the sphere, imaginary glass sphere, if you make a piece, and that piece will be one side, if you it is curved inside, that is reflecting surface if you make, then it is called concave mirror, and the bulged surface if you make it to reflect, it is called convex mirror. So, since from a sphere it is taken that mirror, it is called spherical mirror. The spherical mirrors are, the concave or convex mirror are part of a imaginary sphere from which we have taken this mirror as a part. So, its name is spherical mirror. Now, in this case, we will use some terms like, if you consider the central point of this concave or convex mirror, where in the figure I will talk about the concave mirror now, like this way. If you take this central part, it will come here. Usually I have to draw with the, sorry children, we have to draw using a, because it is a part of the sphere, right? So, here where it is center of the mirror, this point, center of the mirror is called pole of the mirror, pole it is called, okay, P, it is called pole of the mirror. And from which center, which is the center we have taken this, the sphere from which we have taken to make this mirror, this is the center, it is indicated by letter C, center of curvature. C is center of curvature. C is called the center of curvature, where it is nothing but the big sphere of which C is the center. It's the center only, the center of curvature of this concave mirror, and it is usually front of the mirror it comes. If we take the concave mirror, this is the pole, and its center will come front of the, front face of the mirror, concave mirror. And here with which radius, that sphere I have drawn, this sphere, the radius from this point to any point on the sphere, this one, say point P if this have, it is called radius of curvature. With which radius this sphere is drawn. I have drawn from this sphere now, this is the radius, CP is nothing but radius of curvature. It is nothing but a radius of curvature, and usually letter R is used to indicate radius of curvature. Okay, and if we draw that line passing through the pole and center of curvature, this is the imaginary line. If we draw the CP line, it is called principal axis. These are the some terms usually we will use in case of spherical mirrors. Principal axis. There is no line, nothing. If you draw an imaginary line passing through the pole of the mirror and center of curvature, it is called a principal axis. Now, in case of concave mirror, if the light rays parallel to this principal axis, if we draw, where it reflect, in which way it goes. Now, for plane mirror it is very simple. If you draw a normal line, the angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. Now, what I will do is, now if you imagine any curved mirror, the spherical mirror, if you take this mirror like this way, plane mirror, plane mirror, plane mirror, plane mirror. So, you will get a curved mirror. So, it is collection of many plane mirrors put together, you will get like this structure. Now, in plane mirror, you know the law of reflection. When any rays, it moves like this. So, if you draw a normal line here, after reflection, it moves like this way. Angle of incident equals angle of reflection. So, it moves like this. So, if you draw here the ray, one ray, incident ray, if you draw a perpendicular line here, it will move towards like this way. Angle of incidence is equal to like this way. Okay. Same manner, so I will apply where it goes, see if it comes parallel, if you apply the law of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. If you draw here perpendicular line here like this way, it passes through the center of curvature, it is perpendicular to this point, and here it will move like this way. After reflection, this angle are equal. Same manner, if you draw a normal line to the point of incidence here, so after reflection, it moves, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. You have to use scale, children. I forgot to bring the scale. So, it will move like this way. So, the two rays will meet at a point here. The two rays meet at a point. This point is called focus point. F is called focus point. Focus point is nothing but in the principal axis, in a concave mirror, when the parallel rays will travel parallel to the principal axis, after reflection they meet at a point, it is called principal focus, or just you can say focus point. It is indicated by F, and usually it is experimentally they found that F point is exactly midpoint of C and P. F is CF is equal to FP. CF is equal to FP. Now, here the rays are meeting, that is here it is converging. Converging means it will make the mirror will make the rays, reflected rays to meet at a point, converge at a point. So, it is converging mirror. The concave mirror is called converging mirror. Converging. It will make them to meet, and it is real. Actually, they are meet at this point. And how to get this point? Very simple. How to get this point? If you have the concave mirror and where it is really meeting, if you keep any screen there, you will get the point image there. I will show from far away. The rays are coming, falling it here, and if you make it here, whether you can able to see or not, I don't know, children. You can able to see. Actually, we can see the image of outside object on the focal point. I kept the book on the focal point, and when light will fall on it, and if I focus, if you will keep it at a particular point where I should take the picture from outside, whether you cannot able to see, I don't know. One particular point you can see inverted image, because it is real image at the focal point. That is the focal point. You can get it practically. So, that is about the principal focus or the focal point of the concave mirror. About convex mirror we will learn in the next class. Meanwhile, so today we have learned what is the meaning of spherical mirror, the two types of spherical mirror, concave and convex, and some of the terms like pole of the mirror, center of curvature, focus, etc. About concave mirror we have studied. And at home today, children, take the spoon and see your face, how it looks, your image, this part concave and convex. Try this experiment. Okay, thank you.